All right. You're live. All right. So here we are. I'm live. Let's check to make sure that I'm live on Facebook by looking at my phone. And yes, we're live.
We're live. Yay.
Live. This is so cool. So this is the first time that I'm doing this. My Life on Track TV episode live here with Renee Piane. And let me just introduce the show really quick. This is so cool, Renee.
I'm
And thank you.
super excited. Love is in the air right now,
Right.
right?
That's right. That's right. And thank you for having fun with me as we do this, because otherwise it'd be so serious and so, tense and stressful. But we're just going to have fun with this because it's the first time for everything.
That's
And
right.
all right. So let me introduce the show. Welcome, everybody, to Life on Track. So excited. I'm your host, Erin. And as many of you know, this show is based on the principles in my book, Work Love, which is all about bringing love into the world, specifically the workplace, how apropos for what Renee and I are going to speak about today. And also the principles in this book, one of my favorites, Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. I absolutely love the principles in that book. It gives you a design for life, personally and professionally, in the most amazing way. And I love it to the point where I have a whole book series that I'm a contributing author to, based on those 13 principles, called The 13 Steps to Riches. So
wow, that's awesome.
I'm so excited. So excited. So this book is based on the principles in that book. And rich could mean money. It could mean, financials. It could mean relationships. It could mean health. It could mean so many, just spirituality. You could be rich and wealthy in all these different areas. So let's see. And then I'm going to read your bio because I don't want to leave anything out. All right. All right. So I want people to comment. Feel free to comment, you guys. Comment in the on the stream. I'm going to put it. There we go. All right, cool. All right. So I'm going to read Renee's bio because I don't want to leave anything out. You are extraordinary. I love you.
Oh, thank you.
You really are. So Renee Piane is known as the love designer. She's the pioneer in the love industry, an award-winning international love designer, heart-centered messenger, and coach, relationship reinvention expert, and role model for modern love. Renee is creating extraordinary love stories. She's a speaker, TV and radio personality, TEDx youth presenter, community connector, and author of Get Real About Love, The Secrets to Opening Your Heart and Finding True Love, as well as her other book, Love Mechanics. And of course, my dog starts to bark. You didn't hear it?
Mine will probably come down and try to kiss me during this show. But hey, love is part, animals are part of love too.
I love my dog. I love
know.
Molly. Literally like one of my children.
That's true. That is very true. Lucky is my new dog.
Oh,
yeah, I have a new dog. We lost our dog, and I did a little vision of this little dog, and she showed up. It's just a miracle. Visioning really does work. So we'll be talking about that too.
Totally. I had a vision when we rescued Molly. I knew exactly what I wanted, a medium-sized dog, like a poodle mix, but not the coarse hair. I wanted like the soft hair. Mm-hmm. And we went in, and there's this poor dog all matted up, with the collar. She was just fixed. And the kids and I were like, we want that one.
And exactly what so you saved the dog. You saved the dog too. Yeah. You rescued her.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I help rescue people from similar things, but dealing with the heart, and dogs really do fill that space, sometimes. Really. But you also have to have time for a person to come into your life. Some people have so many animals, they don't have time to, they don't have time to like make time for love, like a real person to be a partner, to take care of all those wonderful animals. And I love that's what we're here to talk about.
Yes. And I love what you do. And I actually just opened the window. I finally opened that window for dating. And because I'm so busy with work and I've been growing so much over the past couple of years that it's like, I really haven't had time to slow down and focus on, I dated here and there, but it wasn't a priority. Mm-hmm. And now I'm at the place in life where business is going so well. The kids are older, they're 19, 20, and 24. I can fly anywhere I want to now. And now it's time for that.
Yeah. Well, just what you just said is like one of the number one keys is making love a priority in your schedule. And make it an important part of your schedule, because myself, like you, I was a workaholic and I did not find my true love until I was in my 40s, because I was running speed dating events around the country. And my mom would say, when are you going to take time for love? So when you decide, like you did, you finally focused, and then you got my book and you read it, and it really makes you look at yourself to get real about what you're doing. And that's what this is about, giving people tips to get real about what are they doing now, because this is the most popular time for my business. I'm so busy because people look ahead. They're like, the holidays. Now it's the Jewish holiday right now. Happy New Year to all the Jewish people out there. There's, all the high holidays, and then there's all this visioning of what happened last year. So when you take a look at what actions you took, anybody watching this last year, you need to change it out if you weren't taking space for love. So now that you're doing the show, you can talk about whatever you want, and you have an international audience to reach. And there's people worldwide that are lonely. There's a lot of stuff going on worldwide. And now that the pandemic has lifted, the excuse was, oh, I'm home and I can't date. I hooked up a lot of people during the pandemic, even though it was, from far away, and it gave people time to reflect on the most important decision is that of your life partner, especially with what you're doing. You're on a mission. So now that she's part of this, you're looking for your man. When you have a mission, I think that I know I did. And when I met my husband, I said, I'm here helping people to find true love like I found you. And he is just totally a part of my mission. So you're going to need a really great guy that's going to be like, wow, so proud of you. And, giving you that, wow, look at what she's doing. And then when they see you with him, they're going to be like, wow, this stuff works, But you, just like everyone else with our books, I have 2 books, and all this stuff I was doing, I finally, found love, and it's been now 17 years. We just celebrated 17 years of marriage.
Oh, congratulations. Happy anniversary. That's beautiful. And I met your husband via Zoom, or actually when I first interviewed you on Valentine's Day, when I launched the show, you were the one I launched with on Valentine's Day, and you were perfect for that. A friend of mine, and I put it in my notes today, his name is Steven Spurgeon. And I was talking to him and I said, Steve, the Tom Cruise movie where it says, you complete me, drove me nuts. It's like, I don't want somebody to complete me, because I feel 100% full. When I went through the divorce and, I wasn't ready to date, I just was not. I really had to do and I highly recommend that you do the work on yourself, not for 1 year, but 2 years, and personally, so you really get to know. I was with him for 22 years. So I had to get to know who Erin was again, not just the wife and the mom and everything else. And now, he left 9 years ago. It was 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 6 years now. And I am living my best life. I've never been happier, healthier, and wealthier in my life. I do not need a man, but I want a true partner to take this journey through life with me, but I'm a little busy.
There you go. That's one of the number one things is in your day, you have to, busy people go, I don't have time. And I said, well, if you don't have time now, when you meet a man, you're not going to have time. And then it's going to fail because you're not, or a woman, whatever you want, man or woman, or both, same sex, whatever. But you have to carve out that space. And that's part of a lot of what I speak about at conferences. Okay, you got all this money and you're all successful, but are you balancing love, life, family, and business? How do you do that? And it's really important for busy executives to really take a look. And you can find somebody that understands you by being clear in your communication about who you are. But if you come off like, I was in so many TV shows, and I'd be in the producers' offices, and this one woman was like, I heard about you, and she was interviewing me for this ABC show, and then the phone rang, and she was just hanging up on people, and a guy called her on her birthday, and she goes, I can't talk to you right now. No, I hang up on him, and then she goes, but I've been alone for a really long time. And I said, the guy calls you to say happy birthday, and you were mean to him on the phone because you were hectic, your frenetic tone, And then I said, can I show you how you sounded? And I parroted her and did this. And she just went like this, and she started to cry. She canceled her whole rest of her day and had me giving her coaching in her office at ABC. I couldn't believe it. But most busy people don't realize how they come across.
Yeah.
So, I'll get back to you, Steve. Barbara, I'm in a meeting, so you have to like get it out of the space of work, put that aside and focus on love, even if it's just for a few hours a day.
Yeah.
And, really see what actions are you taking today to meet somebody over the next few months so that you can spend possibly the holidays with them. But most people just don't, they think it's just going to magically happen, but they're in their house working all the time or, out flying all over the country and maybe having little lovers here and there. So these are some of the topics that we're going to talk about. Like,
yes. And we're in the holidays.
What stops people from finding love,
Right. And we're going to give them the tips and the tricks and the strategies on what not to do, right? Which is so important, not just what to do, but what not to do also, and how to present yourself that much better. But Steve said to me today, because he's single also, and he said, instead of Tom Cruise, you complete me, he said, I'm complete and you enhance me.
Yeah, I like that. That's very, very true.
And you enhance me. Like, no, that's ideal, because I feel complete, but I do. And I know when I am in a relationship, or I will stop, and I will take the time to nurture, even with my friendships. So, like the ones that are really close to me with friends, I do take the time, to nurture those relationships. I probably could work on it that much more. But I do know that when I am in a relationship, it does become a priority. So let's talk about relationships during the holidays, because people do start to scramble. Like I was always okay with, not having anybody at Christmas, or I was really okay with it, and now, like I said, the door is opening up, and it'd be nice to share this journey through life with somebody. So tell me what people can do.
Well, it's the intention, just the fact that between the last time I saw you and now, your heart is like, I'm ready.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need any part of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. It takes too much time.
Right.
So if you didn't have success in your last relationship, sometimes you need to look at the whole picture, not just he left or she left, but why, and a lot of times when people break up, they're so hurt and then they just don't really examine what really happened. So that's why get real. Like my whole message is get real with yourself. Like, have you ever really asked people how you come across? So when I went and did what I say to do in my book, I went back and interviewed people and they said, you were just so much fun, but you were like a firefly. You were just always busy. And any guys that I ran into later, like when they said, you got married, I mean, I couldn't even get you on the phone, So it was me stopping me from doing it because of the actions, because I was building my career. So people always think, okay, once my career's here, then I'm going to find somebody. But once you get that business built, you're still working the same amount of time. So unless you carve out that space in your life to focus on love, and that's why people hire me, because I say, what amount of time per week do you actually focus on finding someone? And they're like, well, only if I get invited somewhere, I'll go. But you're not actively looking for actions to take. You might not be doing an analysis of your own paralysis. And many busy executives, men and women, sometimes have a person in their life called a temp that is taking up the little extra time that they do have so that they don't feel lonely. And that seems to be a big thing for busy people that are, they'll say, well, I have this girl, but I know I'm not going to marry her. So that person could be taking up the space. So that's a very important factor. So that's why when people read my book, they're like, oh my God, I had to face myself. Oh my God, And then I wrote about me because I was like that. So the only reason I know is because I didn't get married and find that special person until I was 42. And I didn't marry him for 3 years because he was already divorced, but he was living 3,000 miles away. So love can happen at any time. It can happen like just from you telling people today, I'm looking for somebody, some guy goes, who is that girl? I got to meet her. I have another client who attracted a man from him seeing her do presentations. And then he finally called her and said, I want to hire you, but I also would like to date you, So
Aww.
You just have to stay open, and it could happen anywhere. But people are always working at home now. We got used to it.
Right.
You're not going out as much. So anybody that has your own business like me, if you're single, how many hours a week are you actually leaving your office and not just wearing your pajamas like we all did during COVID? You know,
Right.
everybody gained the COVID-10, everybody, because I've gained weight, I don't want to go out. I'm like, bull crap. Get in something, one of your cute outfits, and go out for lunch. You know, locally in your community, your husband or wife or your new partner could be, you know, at a church on a Sunday, but you don't have time because you're catching up, or if you have your kids, you're going to have to let people know that you're single as well. And that's what you're doing. You're making an announcement. Hey, I'm single, you know, and I did that too. I told everybody. But more importantly, if you've had a pattern of being busy, 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 that's how your friends see you. That's how your business associates see you, and even your family.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, let's say I'm busy, right? And I'm flying, I'm doing book signings, and I am. But it's I love what I do. I'm a life coach and business strategist, and I love it. And I'm on fire to empower female entrepreneurs. Years ago in the 90s, you know, I survived a cancer diagnosis, and I kept living every time they said I die. And everybody knows this story with non-Hodgkin's lymphoblastic lymphoma in 1991. I was on fire to empower cancer patients to get to know what I did. Like I literally, the doctors call me the miracle maker. And that's how I started coaching in the 90s. They started having their patients call me at home because they couldn't describe or explain what I was doing. They really didn't know about meditation and visualization, all these different things, affirmations, and it was life-saving for me. So, but that was then when I was on fire to empower cancer patients. And now I'm on fire to empower female entrepreneurs, because it's just, we put ourselves last. I have a speaking event coming up, and I wish you were in New York because I would have loved to have had you there, at the Westbury Manor.
I could be there. When is it? You never know.
It's October 24th.
Well, I don't know about that because we're in Vegas now and I'm doing some stuff here as well. If I knew sooner, I could have maybe made it happen, but that's okay. We'll have to do it again. Next time you have one. I speak a lot about the art of balancing love, life, family, and business. And it really, truly is an art. I'm busy. My husband flies all over. I'm always here and there. And we really do keep it in balance. We have to. And I don't know that many women, you know, when a man hears your schedule, you know, you're going to need to have to say, but I have time, you know, don't worry. When I get back, it's time for love. And so when I met my husband, he was working around the world and I was in California. We were 3,000 miles away. And people said, how did you make that work? We scheduled it. And it really was great because we got to know each other the old fashioned way, and it built a foundation. And I think that what busy people do mostly is rush into love because they're busy and lonely and they feel the magic with somebody. And this is one of the top tips, is slow it down and see if your lifestyle fits. Because if you're an entrepreneur, and what I did normally, men were like, you take people shopping, you redo their lives, you reinvent their house, and you look at everything that they're doing to market and brand themselves. And it's personal. It's very deep. And people have to trust me, you know?
Yeah.
And I was doing makeovers on homes and I'm still doing that. It's so much fun. And and a lot of men didn't want me to do it. They were like, I don't want you taking a man shopping. He's going to be hitting on you. I'm like, if I'm with you, I'm with you, you know? So my husband luckily was not a jealous person. Good. And, you know, allowed me just to be me. So you be you. Be able to communicate what you want in a relationship. And a lot of people are not, especially married people that get back in the dating game, they don't know how to like vet people. Like, are they ready, or are they in the same love phase you are? So that's what the book talks about, is the phases of love that people are in and how that does affect, you know, your openness. So you are now different than you were a year ago, from when I talked to you a year ago.
Absolutely. And it's funny, your book is amazing. Everybody has to run and get this book, Get Real About Love. When I spoke to you a year ago, and there's people that are commenting, Lisa Manzo said live, that I'm live. Fran Mancini says, hi, Erin, so interesting. Charleston is watching. So, hey, you guys, keep the comments.
Hi, everybody.
This is so much fun to talk about. When I met you, and this is just me being completely honest and transparent, you know, I wanted no part of dating.
I remember.
I was so focused on my kids and my business. Like, that was the last thing I wanted. And you were like, but are you open to it? And I was like, no.
Yeah,
No.
that's true.
And if a guy was flirting with me, I would literally go into like professional mode, you know, or if he worked on Wall Street, I'd talk about how I worked on Wall Street in the 80s, or like I didn't even want to flirt, you know, but now it's so fun. It's so, not the flirting, I'm saying life is so fun. And just being able, and with your help also in your book, I am a good read of where somebody's at in life. Like if they really need another couple of years of like their own personal development, you really want to meet somebody where you're at, because we don't attract what we want. We attract who we are.
Yeah.
You know, so I wanted to make sure that I was in a really, really good place so I would attract a really good man, you know, as opposed to me being like, oh my God, all over the place and worrying about the kids. And that's why I wasn't ready. And it wouldn't be fair. And I dated a couple of guys, but I didn't want it to get turned into a relationship because it wouldn't have been fair to them.
Well, that's really generous of you, to be honest. That's the whole point of getting real, is being honest with where you are today and where you would like to be in 6 months from now. So when people call me, they're like, I'm not sure I'm ready. And I go, that's okay. But if their heart is blocked, right? So that's why when people are working with me, I'm like, go buy a heart that represents you. Because if you're not treating your heart well, you're not going to get somebody to treat you any differently than you're treating yourself. So if you're always rushing and always busy, you know, your heart's going, wait, what about me? I want some love, you know? So some people will just rush into things, or they won't do anything at all. And then at night, you know, you have this one side of you. This is what I always ask people, and anybody that's watching, what percentage of you today, you know, if you were in the Jewish faith, a lot of it is about reflection of the year and what your wishes are for this year, right? Just like New Year's is for us, it's their New Year's. So I always say, what amount of you, 50%, 100%, 80%, believes that love is going to come or not? Like, what's your percentage of, yes, I want love? Is it 50-50? Is it 60-40? Is it 70-30? You know, so once you know what that percentage is, you need to amp up your actions that are going to give you more than a 50-50 thing, because then half of you wants it and half of you doesn't. Yes. So when you have a part of you that hasn't healed something that's going on, or an imprint from your mom, or the last bull crap relationship stuff that you went through that you're still holding on to, you're going to be jockeying back and forth between yourself and fighting yourself. So that's why my book helps people to look at that and go, wow, I'm the reason that I don't have somebody. So now that this beautiful woman here next to me on this stage is saying, I am ready for love, I'm like, oh my God, something must have clicked when she read it. And your little girl's going, yay, now we can play, you know? So it's fun. You're supposed to make it fun, not go, oh God, I got to date again. Like people call me, they go, my friends tell me how terrible it is. I said, it's their attitude. Right. They might have put the wrong messages out. They don't even, you know, when I look at people's profiles, I'm like, your profile is kind of boring. You know, you don't even have anything about what you want to offer. It's all, I want this and I want that, instead of, I want to share this with somebody that's interested in these things. And I have a big heart and I'm fun and, you know, I'm romantic and, you know, I love to get dressed, all the things that you are. I don't know who you are that's watching, but men, the women love when you know yourself, you know, and a lot of guys are like this. I don't want anybody to know I'm reading a love book, especially a purple love book, or Love Mechanics was my first book for men. I taught men for 17 years at the Learning Annex. I was one of the first coaches for men as a female. The other guys were guys, pickup artists and things like that. And the men, ladies, I just want to tell you this. They are so sensitive about matters of the heart, even more than us, because they don't have support like we do.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't have an Erin. They don't have an Erin or a me, you know?
I agree. And when a man is able to show the sensitivity, you know, honestly, you know, without feeling like he's got to do that to win over a girl, but like it's, you could tell it's real. Mm-hmm. It's so attractive. Yeah. You know, like society will have them believing that they have to be like just this tough and non-emotional and that's not attractive.
Yeah. No, I mean, you remember right now in the world, like people are, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on worldwide that's upsetting a lot of people, and people keep looking, well, gosh, you know, I have my husband or my family, you know, great. But for people that are always working, they keep waiting for for this level of success to reach before they reach out for love. You can have both, you know.
Right.
I have that, but I was running speed dating events all across the country. I was the first speed dating company, rapid dating, back years ago, and I was on the road. I was doing TV and marketing in every city, and my mom goes, "You're like Catch Me If You Can, like that movie, you know."
Right.
Where's Renee? She's in Chicago. No, she's here in Atlanta. She's here. She's there. She's over there. And men were like, "I like you, but I can't even get you on the phone." So I was doing what some of you may be doing, waiting for a level of success before I found love instead of building together with someone.
Right.
You know, and you can find that. You can find that if you're clear on your vision and you're not going, "Oh, this sucks," you know.
Right.
And so many people are negative about it because they don't really know how to do the marketing and branding. And that's what I do, you know, help them to juice it up a little bit, flirt more, dress up like you're going to go meet. You should be dressed in something that makes you feel good, whether it's casual or workout clothes. You
Right.
could meet your husband anytime, anywhere, your wife at the grocery store. You never know.
You never know. And I want you to get into, I keep looking at my phone because people are commenting.
Oh, good.
So I want to, so interesting. Charleston says, "Hi, I'm so grateful for you, Erin. Andrea's watching, Lisa's watching, Laura's watching." So everybody ask Renee and I anything that you want. I love it. Go ahead.
This topic that you have on the screen right now is really huge, because when you marry someone or you're picking a partner, you are actually marrying their family. Okay. You're going to be blending families, and the lineage and the beliefs that person has, whether it's a religious person, it could be different. You know, you could meet somebody from a different culture, and some of their families may or may not want you to marry their son or daughter. And I see this happen a lot in Persian families and families that are very strict with religion. Right. And they may fall in love. You know, they say, I always get in Jewish families, people think I'm Jewish and I'm Italian. So a lot of Jewish men and Persian men would chase me. And I said, "I'm not Jewish." And they said, "It doesn't matter." And I said, "Let me meet your mother first, because my eggs will not be Jewish, and your mother and your lineage will not be Jewish if I marry you. And I don't want to get involved with you and then have you date me for a year or 2 or 3 and then go down the lane of the family pushing me out of your life." Yeah. I have a lot of clients in LA. There's big Persian and Jewish communities there that date men that say it's okay. And then 2 or 3 years later, the parents push, the lineage of that family will push that woman or man from marrying somebody that is not in their, you know, culture. So it's cultural, and your family lineage comes from what you saw, heard, and experienced as you grew up. So if you didn't have good patterns, your mom was married to, you know, a father that was always running around, or he never came home, or he was drinking, or she was out with other men and cheating. I don't know what your situation is, or they were unhappy and you saw it and you thought, "Oh no, marriage doesn't make you happy. It makes you sad." You know? Yeah. So I did a TEDx about it, and you should look it up. It's called The Power of Your Love Lineage, and it's up online. And boy, what did it shock my family when I did that, because there was a lot of divorce and infidelity weaved through 4 generations in my family, and it kept me back from finding love until I did the work that I wrote about. So the work that you have to do to heal those patterns can open the world up to you to then attract someone. But if that little boy or little girl inside of you that just had that fear from what you saw, heard, or experienced when you were younger or as a teenager, or bad experiences from relationships, could stop you from keeping your heart open to love.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. And thank God my family history, we have, although my all 4 of my grandparents are off the boat from Ireland. I'm 100% Irish, 100% Irish, second generation Irish. And my grandparents only wanted their children to marry Irish. Right. You know, that's and it was a big deal. My Aunt Nancy met a guy, and they all married Irish. You know, they lived in Irish neighborhoods. My whole family's Irish. McNulty, McCullough, you know, we were Heenan. My maiden name's Heenan. Anyway, so my Aunt Nancy, though, married Brian McCullough, but Brian McCullough's mother was 100% Italian.
Woo!
But they had to lie about it.
But Italians and Irish get along. They party a little differently. And they eat different food. But my sister married a guy like that. And, I'm 100% Italian. Okay. So when guys met me that were Jewish, I said, it's sort of the same, but I don't go to synagogue. We eat, we celebrate. So same thing with the Irish. You guys party, you like to celebrate and so would your family be okay if you didn't marry an Irish guy?
Oh, my parents were fine. It was my grandparents. Like my Aunt Nancy literally had to hide it until, they couldn't hide it anymore. And Aunt Nancy and Uncle Brian have Aunt Nancy passed away, but Aunt Nancy and Uncle Brian had a beautiful, beautiful marriage, and my grandparents ended up accepting them, which is so important, as opposed to making life miserable for your children. Yes. So my parents, my ex-husband was half Italian and half Alsace-Lorraine, that French-German border, but they weren't really sure about what side it was on. But mentally, he was more Irish than I was. He wanted to be Irish so bad.
It's so funny because a lot of people, when they dated me, there was a guy that came to a big party, my mother's anniversary, and everybody hugged him. And at the end of the party, he said, I can't go out with you anymore. He goes, I have never hugged so many people in my life, and I'm not comfortable with it. He was German, and he was very
stoic. Yeah.
Very stoic. And he goes, and you're so much fun, but this family, I don't think I could deal with it at Christmas time,
Aww.
And, any guy that, met me, I would say, Daddy, please don't do the Italian Guido thing. Like, if you hurt my daughter, I'm going to kill you, and he was always really funny because he wanted to be like on The Sopranos, and he'd say, you touch my daughter, I'm going to kill you, and tease guys.
Right.
And it was really funny, but my husband handled him right away. Like, he's like, he said to my dad, I know you're worried about your daughter getting hurt because my intentions are good, Mr. Piane. And if you want, you can throw me in the river, but I can promise you, I'm not going to hurt your daughter,
Aww.
So it was very sweet. It was very, very sweet. But the lineage of a family is important.
Yeah.
And I have clients that, they have kids, a couple get married, and then the mother of one of these clients of mine said, my son's wife's mother is not involved in their life at all. And there's just not a closeness. So he's, the girl kind of has a coldness about her and even affects the baby. So you're marrying a lineage, and you need to really get to know the families of who you're going to marry.
Yeah. I don't really share this ever, but I'm going to share it here. And Charleston said something. I'm trying to refresh the screen here to see the comments.
I wish I could see them all, but I'm on screen, so I can't. But this stuff is deep. It's really deep.
It is. With my ex-husband, my parents embraced him like one of their own. Like they absolutely treated him literally like one of their own. His mother didn't want him to get married to anybody. Like, she had to be the center of his universe, and she was furious that we got engaged. And then she was not a happy mother of the groom. And then when I found out I was having my first son, she told the family to stop talking to us.
Wow.
So that's how bad it was, because it solidified the marriage. And to me, because my parents are such good, loving people, and my parents they're 81 and 82, and they're still married, and they're independent. They take care of each other. They drive each other to the doctors. Like they're so good. So to me, that was like a whole foreign feeling. It was like upsetting. And at the end of the marriage, I used to say, can we address the elephant in the room? Like, just go make up, like, go talk to them. It was 18 years. Wow. And my family literally took him as if he was one of their own, my parents. But he never did. And I really believe that is a huge part of a lot of problems in a marriage. And you really do have to know the family lineage and know where you fall in line, because family, it's the subconscious that you grew up with. That's right. At the end, somehow, I think it's more rare that somebody survives that. You know what I mean?
Well, you bring up a big point, but most people say, I met somebody. And I said, but have you met their family? Have you gone to a holiday thing or, see how they celebrate life? And, you know, my family were caterers, you know, so we grew up in like this huge mansion with all the gold, and it was very Italian. And a lot of people would just be like, whoa, this is just a little too much for me. And then I'd be like, well, you're not my guy, you know?
Right.
And then when Joe came into it, he was from 6 kids. I had 6 kids, and he has 12 nieces and nephews, and I have 14. I mean, so he just fit right into the energy of the family, and everybody was like, this is like God sent him. But I prayed for him. I really wrote out my vision. I saw somebody that loved family, and that was a part of what I put in my vision, you know, as a on Match, and all the, you know, writing that I did. And in my book, I teach you how to really be clear on your vision, not just visually. I'm talking emotionally. I'm talking about, you know, lifestyles and, you know, healthy eating, and people that like to work out. And they'll say, well, I knew my husband didn't like to work out, but then now he's obese. He drinks all the time. I didn't know that it would go that way, because they didn't investigate where he came from, you know? And once they went to see his family, they realized he came from an alcoholic family, but they didn't know that until it was 2 babies later. You know, so it's important. The family lineage. And that's going to be my next book. All the stories of all the clients, once I get them to look at that, the healing that happens, and then the stories of their success in love in the future is so rewarding. It's like you with your patients, you know, of cancer. It's like I take out that fear and really empower people to make the decision from not just a spark of chemistry, but actually you knowing who you are, and then meeting a person that knows who they are, and sharing these things before you get romantically involved, so that you don't get caught in the sexual energy of a relationship too quick before you know what you're getting yourself into.
Which is so important. First of all, I want to talk about the confidence also. Like, you have to, otherwise you have a codependent relationship, and that's so unhealthy. You know, this 2 things I want to speak to you about, like developing the confidence after divorce, romance after divorce, especially after you had a couple of kids. You know, like a lot of mothers sacrifice, you know, like 20 years of their life and their body, you know, like bringing children into the world. So I want to speak about developing the confidence for the romance after divorce and having children, all that kind of stuff. And then the other thing I want to talk about is for the kids, like if the father chooses a bar stool over a family, you know, over their mother and the kids, and he goes on to be an alcoholic. I don't want the kids to be doomed to never have a healthy relationship, because the good girl, you know, is going to look for somebody who didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? So how do we walk that line?
You have to, you know, I was speaking at USC with this gentleman, Henning Morales. He does movies for teens, confidence building. And in my TEDx talk, I talked about, and all these talks that I do about love, balancing love, life, family, and business, parents normally only talk to their kids about 10 minutes a day. And if they're going through emotional stuff with rejection at school or confidence issues, they don't know how to ask you for help. So it's very important for, if you are talking about your ex or dating, or you have men. I have some parents, kids that tell me, my mommy has a different man every week. You know, she's bringing all these men home and sleeping with them. And so the parents sometimes don't realize that the things, when they're not healed from a relationship, from a divorce, the things you're saying to your mother on the phone, the things that you're hearing as a little girl. And if you read my book, little Renee was sitting on the steps of the den. There was a kitchen with steps right against the wall. And I would hear, oh, he left me for somebody. And I would listen to all my mother's sisters who went through divorces and the crying. And my mom had a little therapy. She had a little thing that said, my therapy office is open, and she would come and they would get consoled. But no one knew that I sat there for about 3 years and listened to all the traumatic stories, and it traumatized me. Of course. But it actually led me into my business.
Right.
When I really look at it, my pain led me to my passion.
Yeah.
But I had walls myself. So I had to learn through studying psychology, neurolinguistic programming, and all the spiritual studies, how to work with healing those imprints. And if, as you know, I went back and interviewed many of the people in my family, and it healed generations of their children too.
Wow.
It's very, very fascinating. You know, they didn't realize that I heard what I heard and saw what I saw until they heard me do my TEDx talk. And my aunts were all like, oh my God, I didn't know that I was one of the reasons. Oh. And then I started to go speak at USC with this group, and I would ask the kids, have any of your parents talked to you about dating? Have any of them talked to you about sex? No. Hundreds of kids. Of kids. So what you're doing in your life as a parent, you know, or a single parent, your kids are watching whether, you know, oh, that guy was a jerk last night. I'm never going to do this again. Dating is, you know, dating sucks, and they hang up. The kids are thinking and absorbing all of that. And it's very important for you to beware. But romance after divorce, it's very important if you are going through a divorce, not to fight in front of the kids. You know, all my aunts all went through divorce, and I used to see my cousins just suffer. They all became Wonder Women, and many of them did not get married until they were older or had multiple marriages because they picked the wrong guy just to escape. So you got to be careful. You got to be very careful, because choosing your life partner is one of the biggest decisions of your life. And at this point in your work, you're going to choose somebody fantastic that fits into you and so proud of. I see you being with somebody so proud of you, you know, supportive of you. Like when you're on stage, he's sitting back there like, that's my girl, you know. I just feel, you know, and that's what you need to like envisioning what it's going to be like. In the book, it says, what is your day in the life of you and your partner going to be? How are you going to prepare yourself now emotionally? What's blocking you from one guy or a woman in your life? You know, I had a client who was a very successful man, and he said, I have this woman in my life, but she's not the one. And I helped him to break up and open his heart. I built him, I got him new clothes. I got him a whole new profile, pictures. I put him on Match. He met 100, the day after I put him on, he had 150 women writing to him, and we went through them all. And I said, the one that is, because he focused like you just did, what is my mission? What is my vision? Right. I said, what about this girl? First one I picked, he's now marrying her.
Wow.
He's marrying her.
Wow.
And today I have a client too. She did a vision board with me, and she broke up with someone, went through the breakup. I helped her to learn the lessons and everything. And then she just called me today and said, oh my God, I met my match, because she's an attorney. She's very busy. She should be on your show. She's awesome. She helps women and men prepare financially in case of divorce, in case of death. And it's so important for you to have that. And so I helped her to look at her vision, and she goes, my vision board is him. She told me this today, and I cried. I just cried.
Wow.
I cried, you know, because as you can see, like you, I like to help people get over the broken heart, learn the lessons, you know, don't pass them on to your kids, and then create your vision and make it happen, you know,
and live your best life.
I make people find their person, and it is the most rewarding thing to be invited to weddings, and I hopefully will be invited to yours someday.
That would be so nice. That would be really nice.
And you have to tell people, like, if people have been hearing you out there listening, men, women, there's nobody good out there. That is not true. You just you've had a couple bad experiences. Look at the lessons. You know, put them up in the back shelf somewhere and move on.
I'm over it. Exactly. And I am over it. And that's why I'm looking forward to the next half of my life, you know? And like you said, you envision, you know, the man being so proud of me on stage and all of that. I want the same for him, you know, like I want to be that for him as well, you know? And I wrote out a crystal clear vision of exactly what I'm looking for. And it's so funny because one of my best friends, godmother to two of my children, she's going through a divorce now. And, she said to me a couple days ago, she's like, you want to go speed dating? And that's what made me think of you. And I was like, you know, now speed dating to me before that was like, none of my friends or my family are divorced, you know? So it's like my friends going out with me But this became fun all of a sudden. I was like, oh my God, Barbara, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go have fun.
I'm telling you, I hooked up hundreds. My former partner and I were the first speed dating company when the Jewish synagogues in New York this was 20 years ago, this happened. And we pioneered it. I was on every talk show with her. It was great. And it was fascinating to see people date for 5 minutes. And during that time, that's when I noticed that people don't ask good questions. So in my book, I gave you all the questions to ask. Is somebody aligned with your vision? So if you know yourself so well, like you do now, right? And you know from experience of being married, etc., you can say, gosh, I had beautiful kids. My husband and I grew apart, and now I am blah, 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 So you're literally talking your future into your future. But if you're naysaying dating, so rapid dating, people go, oh, there's all losers at that. I said, that's not true. You might meet a couple nerds, but there's nice people. And sometimes it'll be a hit and sometimes it won't. But if you keep doing it, it just makes dating easier. And I think I'm going to probably start it back up.
Really?
Because it was really fun, but it is a lot of work to get equal men to women, because the women all sign up right away and the men wait. And then they come to the door and look in the room to see who's there. And if they don't think like anybody, some of them don't stay. I used to chase men at the Lowe's Hotel. I'd say, Bob, get back here. I would say, get your ass back here. You paid to get here. I would go grab people. And I said, who do you think you are? You think you're higher and above everybody else?
Get back in that room.
Get back in that room, And the women would do it too. They'd go, there's nobody in my league. This one woman came in and she goes, there's nobody here in my league. I go, so, well, what league are you in? Are you like, you're in a league of your own alone is what you're in. And I said, why don't you just go and sit down and enjoy meeting different people to see maybe it could be you being kind of a bitch. I mean, and she just looked at me and she goes, you are really ballsy. And I said, I think you're going to have a lot more fun than you think.
Right.
And she ended up meeting somebody. Another cute guy came in right after her. And she's like, well, I want to meet him. I said, well, you might have to meet 10 other people that you might not want to meet because they're too short or they're not your type or whatever.
Right.
But those people know other people that would like you. So open the door up. It's not just that person. They know people.
Right. Let me just see if anybody else is commenting on here.
It's speed date. It was called Rapid Dating. We were the first company, and then Match copied us. Everybody copied. It was so much fun, and I went to a lot of weddings because of it.
Charleston also said, good points. I love that. People expect that the religion issue will just work itself in time. So he was commenting about what we said earlier, and there's a bunch more people watching. So yes, so my friend Barbara, who's watching, when she said that, hi Barbara. So happy.
Anybody who's watching, if you're really serious about finding love, I will give you a free consultation. If you could put up that thing, I think I sent it to you. You can put it up. It has my link on Facebook because I'm not on it. I'm just on your live. But, just call reneepiane.com/contact and I'll call you and I'll give you 20 minutes of my time free. Because you need to take action that's different than you've been doing. Don't listen to people that don't have love. Find role models that have it and follow them, and people always say, I want a husband like yours. I said, well, I'm very sweet to him. I love him. I would do anything for him.
Yeah.
And we get married every year. My marriage is sacred. If you want a sacred marriage, then you have to treat yourself sacredly, be kind to yourself. If your heart is hurt, heal the old wounds and then move forward. But if you need help, this is what I do. Like, let me take a look at what you write. It could be demanding. It could be kind of irritating. It could be really too fluffy. And, but most people write what they want and not what they want to offer. Like, what do you have to offer? What do you have to offer? You have a beautiful Irish family that loves to celebrate life. I said, I'm 100% Italian. I love to cook. I like to spoil the people in my life. I'm fun. I like to celebrate, entertain. I love to cook, but I want somebody that's loyal. I put that in there. And I want somebody that is not afraid of my career. And I want somebody to let me do me. And I want a family-oriented man that can deal with Italians.
I want to ask you a question, and I love
Okay.
that. And you know exactly what you want, and I'm
Yeah.
very loyal to the point where, like, I went out with somebody from when I was 19 to 24, and just loyal, like it just loyal. And same thing with my ex-husband. I mean, I never even flirted, nothing, like nothing at all, ever, because loyalty means so much to me.
Mm-hmm.
But my driver, I have a driver who takes me to and from Kennedy all the time, to go, from getting on a plane and whatever. And
Right.
Freddie knows me really, really well. And I think he thinks he's looking out for me by saying this, but I'm like, Freddie, I'd rather be single for the rest of my life. But he's like, Erin, you like, guys cheat. Like, but they have to keep it away from you. They can't let you know, and that, because that's the respectful thing to do. I said, Freddie, that's like, I'm sorry, but that's so outside my norm or what I would ever want. I wouldn't want to think like, okay, as long as you don't tell me, go do whatever you want.
No, there's a lot
Right.
of people that make agreements like that in
No.
different countries. And the women in Italy, I've been called to Italy. They want me to come to talk about how you can do that because the men in Italy cheat, and it was throughout my generations, there was a lot of cheating going on. So it just depends. That's why you need to see if the person has a good foundation in their family lineage, and some don't. They
Right.
just don't believe it. And you can say, if you're a cheater, don't apply.
Right.
Players do not apply. I
Right.
have that in my Match.com. It says players do not
That's a good
even
one.
respond to me.
Right.
I want a loyal man, and I will be
Yeah.
loyal. And believe me, I teach flirting.
Right. And I like
I-
flirting. Yeah, go ahead.
Flirting's fun, but I'm not a cheater. I am
No.
not a cheater. I'm a loyal person. But people would always say to me, well, your husband and you are both so friendly. Does he cheat? I say he gets tempted because women send him pictures, crazy pictures sometimes. And it happens to me too. Men send me crazy stuff
Me
that I don't
too.
even want to talk about online.
Right. Yeah.
Saying, yeah, you're so cute. Would you get, no, I'm
True.
a married woman and I'm faithful. Thank you.
And I'm
So
50.
it happens. Temptations happen. That's a whole other show. But I'm just saying, if you want a loyal person, then be the person that you want to attract. You
Yeah.
want somebody friendly, you want somebody fit. And a lot of people say they get disappointed because somebody says that they're fit and they're into exercise. And then you find out they walk around the block, and they're not fit,
Right.
So be what you're asking for. If
Yeah.
you're asking for something, be that person and be
Right.
honest and take risks. And you don't have to be perfect to
Right.
find somebody. You don't have to be, a lot of men like curvy, sexy women, and a lot of women like men with a little belly.
Dad bod.
It's not about being physically perfect. It's about
Right.
feeling confident
Right.
in your skin, confident
Right.
in your body. And not everybody can be that.
Right. And that's the most attractive thing. When
It
somebody,
is.
and I honestly don't think that the confident man or woman, because there's plenty of women who cheat also, I don't think the confident man or woman who's in a relationship, in a healthy relationship, is even thinking about cheating, because he's got the confidence that he doesn't have to go prove something to himself constantly by doing these different things, so confidence is key. I'm also very old school, and I get disappointed. I say sometimes it's like plucking me out of the 1980s and dropping me into this dating. I have to Google some of the stuff I hear. I'm like, what is that? But I'm just old school. I'm very just old school, and that's what I love. And
But you're old school, but you're also a career woman, and you've had to take care of business, and you want a partner that sees you for who you are.
Right.
And loyalty is a part of that. And that is what, we tease each other. I'll say, some guy hit me up on LinkedIn today, and he goes, yeah, some little girl sent me her butt on my Facebook, Insta, whatever. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, well, there we go again. And yeah, it is tempting, to feel, we call it the juice, like when somebody flirts with you, I say, oh, baby, you got the juice, you still got it, So it is nice when somebody says, you look pretty today, or you're a handsome guy, or you're single, and he'll say, I got some juice today from some older woman over at the lunch, and she asked me if I was single. And I thought, oh, somebody still thinks I'm cute, and he's very handsome. But, sometimes even the most beautiful people are insecure, and if you are, that's okay, but you just have to take risks and chances, and that person will find you eventually. But you have to believe in love, that you deserve it, And if there's still things that are unhealed, my book will unwind it for you. Like, it's like when people read it, they're like, God, I was in therapy for 10 years and I read your book and it made me like heal myself. And I'm so glad I found it, because it helped them to heal quicker, because they had to look at themselves and they had homework to do. You have to look at yourself and actually read and then say, wow, I did that. Oh my God, I remember that, or that happened and I wasted 4 years of my life getting over Steve. I wasted 4 years of my life getting over Mario, and every woman who reads my book, poor Mario, you son of a gun, you. He had two of us going, one on the east, one on the west, and he was like, got us all mixed up. And then he confessed drunk like Christmas that his other girlfriend, and I found out on Christmas Eve while I was there with his whole entire family. I was so embarrassed. I wanted to kill him. And then he called me and said, I should have, I think I'm making a mistake on his wedding day. Like, crazy stuff. So if I could get over it, anybody can get over it. If you're divorced, you are now new. You're new. So make it new. Make your life new and fresh. And don't think about what happened. Learn from it. Move on. And then come up with a vision. And I have classes to do that. I have flirting and I have vision classes. And when you create that vision, this girl told me today, she goes, my vision board just came true. And she started crying. I started crying. This is right after I talked to you. And she said, I met him. And she was divorced. Her husband had cheated. She has a son, and she met a guy that is a lawyer like her. And they're like a match.
I love it.
Just met him last week.
Well, she attracted who she was. She did the work, the personal development work that you helped her with. That's why I said to
she said to me, I never have taken time to look at me because she was in school and very strict parents that, get your degree, become master, and then she opened her own business, and hopefully you'll get to have her on your show. She's so fantastic. We did something last year about love and money, and combining it and looking at what happens if something happens, in your life. Are you set up? And she's just brilliant, and I think she intimidated people because she's very cute and she's super smart. And she just had been married for a long time. She didn't know how to date.
Let me ask you that question, because that's a really good point. Like when a guy says, oh, like let's say a friend of mine is talking to somebody, oh, you should go out with my friend. Then they look me up on Facebook or something. They'll say, oh no, she's out of my league.
They're scared because you're such an empowering woman, and you could say, I'm just a woman just like anybody else. I need company and I would love to meet you, that it has to be the people that know you. The people that know you to be able to say, she's a sweetheart. Just go out on a date with her. You never know. She doesn't bite. And
I'm so
that's what I tell people, if you talk to me, I don't bite, know?
I just said I'm so easy, but I meant to, like, when I'm out on a date, it's fun. It's good. Like when I do date, it's always fun. It's always a good time,
Well,
and
look at you. Anybody that watches you, I've watched your shows. You're so energetic. You're on a mission, and you need to be with somebody that's inspired by a woman on a mission. I was on a mission to bring more love to the planet. And I'm going to be like 90 still going, wait a minute, you need to meet this person. You need to meet this person, and maybe if you got new shoes, Brian, maybe, those beat up old sneakers with your baggy butt jeans just aren't attracting anybody, And I think, one of my clients told me that I have the ability to tell people things that are really hard to tell them with love so that it makes them want to change instead of feeling defensive. So don't let that. My dad used to say, if you read the story at Christmas, everybody was bugging me. You're not married. You're on TV every week. What's wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, I know that I have put my vision ahead. I prayed for my husband. I know he exists. And one of these days I'm going to walk him here, but I don't need your condemnation that I'm not married yet. I need you to believe in me. And I said this to my friends too. And I helped it's interesting because birds of a feather usually flock together. Most of my friends had parents that, maybe had troubles in their marriage, and they all did not want to get married. And I helped all of them find love by healing from inside out, looking at their patterns. And, some of my friends are like, there's no way I'm ever getting married. No way.
I hear a lot.
You could just open one little window.
Right. It might be okay.
It's going to be okay. And it's kind of fun. And then they saw my marriage and me having my freedom. I said,
Right.
you just have to set it up the way you want it. But that's why honesty, knowing yourself, doing a little homework, and then asking the right questions to see if you and that person align. People don't really give you those type of questions. I do. You should read it. So when you meet somebody, Erin, you're going to say, tell me about your family, probably, right?
Oh, totally.
That was the first question. How do you celebrate the holidays? Oh, I hate my family. They're a bunch of jerks.
Yeah.
I never go home and see my mom. I'm like, bye.
The other
Not
thing
for
is,
me.
how do you
I'm
feel about your
Italian. You got to
kids?
meet my family.
Right, right. But the other question is, how do you feel about your kids? What kind of relationship do you have with your kids? I find out so much about somebody else. Oh, they're a pain in the neck. You know, they're always in my space, or they cost so much money. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh my God. Yeah. So that's a complete opposite of what I'm looking for, you know, and what most women are looking for. But
now your kids are a certain age now, so you're more free now, right?
Yes, they're
'Cause
19.
that's the fear of most men. Many couples I've helped that had kids, both people had kids, and they merged like the families and everything.
Right.
But when you have kids, you have to say, my kids are grown, and now I have the space to focus on spoiling my man. And you have to put that in your profile because men have the same thing. You may end up with a man that has children, and then you could merge, the families. And there's a woman I was coaching over in London, and she found a man. She has a son, and he had 3 kids, and she just met all of his kids, and they traveled together this summer. And she said that it was, she's test driving the waters with. And then that's a whole other thing that I teach is slow down the process of getting to know someone and see how they are in different circumstances so that you can test drive the relationship before you jump all in and get your heart broken because you've gotten intimate too soon. Right. So there's so much to say, and we can't do it in a half hour, but I think we did pretty good.
No, we're going to still keep going. We're at over an hour now.
Uh-oh. Does anybody have classes?
We can still keep going. Let me see. We have a bunch of people watching. Andrea said, proud of you, Erin. I remember you going through so much of what you're talking about. I'm like, it's like night and day, and that's why when people are coming through divorce, especially if you're on the receiving end of the shock,
yes,
you have to take time. Don't date right away. It's not fair to you or anybody else. Like, really take time. Do you agree? Take time for yourself so that you can literally bring your best self to the table.
But on that note, when you are going through this, only share your sacred secrets and your pain with people that you trust.
Oh, yeah.
Because some people like to feed off of your pain and go, oh, have you seen Erin's like brokenhearted? Don't fix her up with anybody now. So you're setting up, your confidential people, right? Like you have your lawyer, he knows everything, she knows everything. And then you have your couple really best friends. But when you say, people go, well, are you dating? You could say, when I'm ready, I'll be ready. I'm getting my heart intact. Right. So you're saying all positive things.
Totally.
I've learned so much from my marriage, and I'm going to really be careful. And I really could use your support and prayers instead of going, oh God, this whole thing is dragging on and on and on, and making people then talk behind your back. You have to have a team of really good support. Your posse is really important. And that's why you coach people. That's why I coach people. When people go through it, they don't want people to know their private stuff.
Right.
And it's very, when people say, well, how did you get into this? I said, I lived through it. So I have this heart to be able to handle some of the crazy stories that I hear about what happened and give them a different perspective from like looking at it like it's a movie. And then what would you say to that person in that movie? Get out, like run, run. And then they laugh, and I said, but you need guidance as you're going along so that you don't feel so alone. But if you don't have friends that you don't think or family members that are going to be critical of you, I had people criticizing me, you're helping all these people and you haven't found anybody. I was like, I don't need this from my family. If you don't believe in me, who does?
Right. And then there's people that are negative to the point where they'll say, oh, it's like breaking back into jail. Why would you want to date? It's like or they'll say, just all negative things about men because they've been hurt. I love men. You
I do
know,
too.
even though I'm on fire to empower the female entrepreneur, I also in the same breath say, and I want to celebrate the men who want to support those women. You
That's
know, I
great.
mean, God created men and women. Women can do what men can't do, and men do what women can't do. Like they can't, you know, like our hips spread when we have babies, you know, like there's certain things that would like just, you know, that we have our God-given gifts that when we're brought together, I think it's just such a beautiful union. So I absolutely love men. So when women would say things like that to me, like, oh, you don't want to date, it's like breaking back into jail. You have your independence, you know, and it's just, I used to say, I don't want to hear that. It's like, it's just negative. I'd rather stay in my little bubble of I want to pour love into the world and I just want to believe the best in others, you know, and, you know, it's just, and just expect the best from others because we get what we
Yes.
expect.
Well, I always prayed that I would find a husband that when people saw us, they saw love.
Yeah.
And I think that if you are out there today and you are one of those naysayers, like, oh, people just get hurt, it's not worth it. If you just look around and look at couples that actually have a spark, like I see people and I see couples like on planes or whatever, and they're like, oh, snuggly or whatever. And I'll go up to them, you know, after everybody's out and I'll say, I saw you two come on the plane. And I don't know, you have that sparkle that people look for. How did you meet? And then they tell me, oh my God, you wouldn't believe how this happened. And I have so many amazing stories. I should write a book about the stories that I've heard from couples that I've asked that too, you know?
Yeah.
And so if you see people that are happy, look for happy people. And if the people that you're hanging out with have had crappy relationships, buy them the friggin' book and tell them to read it because
Right.
people need support, but they don't really want to go to, some of them say, I don't know if I want to go to therapy. I'm like, well, read my book. It's like going to therapy. It really is.
Right. Right.
Because you got to face your family stuff. You got to look at your, you know, patterns. Like when I tell people, write down every man or woman you dated, it's almost like they dated the same person over 10
Totally.
years, or
Yes.
they married somebody that was like that, you know, and they're like, God, I never looked at it that way. I've been dating like the same kind
Yeah.
of guy or the same type of woman over all these years. So it's an imprint that
Yeah.
got installed. We
Yeah.
uninstall and reinstall new things and
Yeah.
new conversations, and things change. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're programmed from birth to eight, especially, you
Yeah.
know, with everything that we believe, what kind of a man to attract, like everything from birth to eight.
And
So people,
TV and movies
everything is
and
programming. Everything is programming. But when you are aware of the fact that you're attracting the same guy over and over again, like I love working with my patients to help them reprogram their subconscious
right.
so that they get rid of self-doubt is a dream crusher. You know, you
Yes.
got to have a crystal clear vision, not just of the man that you want. That's like that's your zone of genius, you know, but you have to have a crystal clear vision of exactly what you want in every area of life, personally and professionally. And when you could take the time and get crystal clear, I say this all the time, like ordering from Uber Eats or DoorDash, and you're not going to just say, I want a meat, a starch, and a vegetable, you know, and you wouldn't even just say, I want a steak, a potato, and a vegetable. You would say, I want a ribeye, medium rare, you know, I want it twice baked, hold the butter, and I want sauteed garlic, hold the salt. I'm just making this up, right?
Right.
I mean, sauteed broccoli, hold the salt. So crystal clear with every area of your life of exactly what you want. The eye color, the hair color, like everything, the vibrant colors in the room. Bring it alive, utilizing your five senses and the sixth sense of intuition. You know, with the vibrant colors, the smell of the food, the smell of the perfume and the cologne, you know, the sound of the music, the feel of the hugs and the
Yeah.
holding, you know, like bring it alive and have the feeling as if it's happening right now.
Yeah.
And you will manifest what you want at record speed. It's quantum physics. It's a thing. You know, just like there's gravity out there, everything hits the ground. We don't know how it happens, but everything hits the ground. It's the same thing with universal law spiritually.
Yes,
You know,
I do believe that. And
yeah,
if you read, as you know, I believe in writing it. And I
yeah,
wrote my husband letters before I met him. I bought him cards. I got my house ready. It's about you getting ready in advance for this love by being that same energy that you want to attract. And
right.
on that note, I do have to cook dinner
Okay. Okay. Yes, you
for
do.
my
It's
husband, who
fun.
is outside with my little poochie poo.
Oh,
But
okay.
if anybody is inspired, you know, Erin, I
Yeah.
mean, you already know everything. You know, you've learned some things from me and from all the work that you do that is so magnificent. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so honored to be on your show, sharing my heart and my, things. And also, when you get the book, if you do order it on Amazon, it comes with vows that I can send you. If you do buy it, you should let me know. And you are welcome. I teach flirting with life classes every month. I also teach vision board classes. And even if you've done a vision board, I have helped so many people. Like the girl said today, my vision board class, he is the guy. Like she freaked out because she wanted a man with a boat. She wanted a man that was smart. She wanted a man that was family. And she said every single thing, and language. She wanted a Spanish man. And she met a Spanish man. Wow. And that had multiple language. She wanted multiple lingual that can travel. And he's a very wealthy attorney, and so is she. And they're equally matched. And it's so exciting. And she cried on the phone. She said, but I never looked at it this deeply because I was too busy. And just from taking time for love for herself, for yourself, to do the inner, and even if you've read every dating book or whatever, this is a little different because it's about your lineage and looking at what could be blocking you. And so I hope that I'll hear from some of you, sometime. I'm here like you, Erin. We are really, truly spreading love. And it is the sacred time of year, from now all the way through the holidays. And it could happen just like that, like it did to me. It happened. If you read my story, people go, I can't believe it. I was going to meet someone else. I was across the country. I went to the shore, and on a blue full moon, I ran into this guy that I had met 20 years before. And I had shaken his hand at a wedding and told his cousin I was going to marry him. And 20 years later, I ran into him, and he was single and I was single. And the rest is history, 17 years ago.
Oh, you're smart.
I am so honored to be here. And from my heart to yours, it really is a sacred journey, like you take women through. And we're both aligned with that. And that's why I'm so grateful for you to share me with your people, because, you do similar work, but I do it focused only on finding that person and healing.
That is your zone of genius. That is your zone of genius. You are you pioneered the speed dating in the 90s. You were all over the TV. You were all over the nation and probably the world doing what you do. And it's so funny. Sharon Lechter said this to me. You turned up the engine, you know what I mean? In doing what it is that you do, because your God-given gift clicked for you. And then you turned up. I was at Sharon Lechter's house when I was in Phoenix last month, and she was helping me go over my business because this year I'm scaling to 7 figures. And so she said, we went through everything. And she said, you have everything. You have the foundation for everything that you need. Everything is right there. She said, now you just turn up the engine. And that's what you did. And that's what you did.
It's funny when you would say that, because it says, get in the driver's seat of your love life. Like that was our tagline, rapid dating, and had a car. And it said, get in the driver's seat of your love life. Like to make that a priority. So that's what I'm telling you. Get in the driver's seat. If you need a little driving advice, I'm here.
That's so funny, because that's my tagline. That's my tagline for the show.
No, I mean, I had that. I could show it to you. My website was 20 years ago, and it had it looked like a car was going fast, and it had like a streak behind it. Right. And it said, get in the driver's seat of your love life.
Oh my God. Hold on one second really quick.
It's not up. I took rapid dating down.
No,
but I could show you the logo. Look at that.
Right. This is you, right? This is it. This is our promo thing, right? So this is the,
what does it say?
It says life on track. And underneath it says, get into the driver's seat of your own life and business.
Yeah. Mine was get into the driver's seat of your love life. And it had like a car with 2 people in it. And they were going that way. So if I do start it again, I'll probably do the same. I'll use the same logo because it still applies, because you're in the driver's seat. But if something is holding you back, you need to get the passengers out of your vehicle.
Yeah.
So, and I wrote a book called Love Mechanics. I don't have one here with me in Vegas because I live in Las Vegas, I live in Los Angeles, and then I live in Delaware. I have a house in Delaware too. So I have clients all over the country. So if you're ever interested or you're here, let me know. I'm in Vegas like part-time, half of the year. And then I'm here in LA. So if you ever want to meet me live, that's what you can do. And I'll get you in the driver's seat of your love life and get you dressed for it too.
I love that.
Love dressing people. It's so much fun. And now I've been doing, there's a woman here. I met some designers because I've designed my whole house in Delaware. I have an Airbnb in Delaware, and I redesigned my house. And now the designers here want me to do they have a lot of bachelors that want to redo their apartments here in Las Vegas. So I'm redoing their bachelor pads to attract, their wife. And it's so much fun. I have a couple clients in LA that I'm working on. Even from here, I'm buying them stuff here and bringing it back home, to amp up their houses and their love nests. I call it love nests.
I love it. You're so good.
It's just my passion. So my books are online on Amazon, Love Mechanics, and actually and Get Real About Love. So Get Real About Love. I'm here and I love you. And I know, and I'll be happy to look over what you are doing, your action steps to see what you're doing, and pump up the volume a little bit and then put it out there anew. But I love your pictures. I saw her beautiful pictures. It's very important for you to have great pictures that are new, not 10 years old.
Right. And they're real.
To get yourself in advance ready so that if you get invited to a Christmas party or a Thanksgiving event or go to feed the homeless, you got some cute get-ups.
I have my little black dress. I have my little red dress.
You're a speaker. Not everybody has that. A lot of women, I say, are you ready for love? And they're like, I don't have the clothes for it. I said, well, let me take you shopping. Even just to get a basic dating wardrobe, you should be ready in 5 minutes. I got like this outfit. I get responses from this color. Like colors matter.
Yes.
White and black is my go-to. Like I notice you wear white and black a lot, and blue and red, and you have that color in blues and stuff like that. Right. So you should have somebody show you that. I'd be happy to show you all of that. It's so much fun. And I just was with a bachelor, and I'm redoing his helping him redo his apartment, and he's so excited, I said, if a woman goes into your bathroom, you don't have anything in there to make her spend the night, come on, you got to get some stuff in here. So I gave him my Love Mechanics book and my book. And he's like, this is unbelievable. I didn't even think about this or that or this,
That's
so
cool.
You can tell we both are very passionate. That's why I love this girl. You are on fire.
I love you too.
I want to see your book so that you have to let me know where I can get your book and people can get my book so that we can support each other. And I want to do an interview with you about work you love, because if you're not loving your work and then you're not loving your love life, it all goes together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just a lot more comments and stuff like that. So I want to thank everybody for watching.
Yeah. And connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, all of it, and I'm all over the place all the time, and I'm back in action. I just went to like 4 weddings this summer. Wow. So I took a vacation. My husband had time off and we went to Greece and we had a romantic 4-week vacation. We've been just like everywhere. We've been having so much fun. And now it's time to get back to work, because this is the season for love. That's what I'm doing. This is the season for love for you, Erin. And if anybody sees this gorgeous woman, you should just hook her up, go messenger on Facebook and say, let's go out. That's what I would be doing right now. Bye, everybody. This is the Love Designer signing off, and I'm so excited. And now I got to go make dinner for my hubby. God bless you all.
Tell him I said
remember, love is there for you. You just have to keep your heart open to love.
I love you. You're the best. That's so good. Thank you so much for being here. You're so good. All right, everybody, reach out to Renee Piane. She's amazing. Definitely get her book, which is Get Real About Love. Such a great book. Such a great book. And contact.
It took me 4 years to write it, because I had to approve my family stories in there that kind of freaked my family out, because I was exposing things that happened through the lineage, and everybody healed from it. It was very empowering.
Right. Thank God.
So even my own family didn't know all the stuff I did. They were like, you did that too? I'm like, yeah, I did.
You do a lot.
All right. God bless. And check out, if you look up TEDx, you can look up TEDx Renee Piane, and you'll see it online. And I would love to hear from any of you, and I'd be happy to give you a free 20-minute consultation. Have a blessed evening, And I'll see you soon, Erin. I can't wait to hear your new love story.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Renee. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All right. I just want to, do you want me to take you? Hold on one sec. All right, guys. How amazing is Renee? I love that woman. She's absolutely extraordinary. And she is the dating guru, her zone of genius. She's been doing it since the 90s, but not just doing it. Like she's the pioneer of the speed dating and all that kind of stuff. She was, like I said, she was on all these TV shows back in the 90s and speaking on stages around the world and still does to this day. You heard everything that she does. She's definitely the go-to person when it comes to Cupid. That's what I should have told her when she was on screen with me. She's definitely the go-to person with Cupid. And I also wanted to remind you guys that I'm having my in-person event at the Westbury Manor here on Long Island in Westbury, New York. And it's going to be over 100 people there. It's about empowering the female entrepreneur and celebrating the men who support those women. And it's a luncheon. It's a networking. It's high vibe, high energy, music. It's going to be a great time. With speakers, myself about vision and decision, my friend Eric about habits and attitudes, Eric Swanson, John Kovacs Jr. will speak about the power of connection. And I have a doctor speaking, Dr. Avila, speaking about self-care and how we need to take care of ourselves better instead of putting ourselves last. And a woman speaking about alternative investing, the financials during lunchtime. We're going to have chicken franchise. We're going to have a vegetarian alternative if you don't like chicken franchise. And it's just going to be, I want it to be a lot of fun. All right. A high energy, high vibe kind of a networking event luncheon. All right, you guys have a magnificent day. Have an amazing night. It's now nighttime outside. Have a magnificent night. And always remember to live onward and upward. Love you.